And we're going to use this kitchen, as you can see on your screen, as the basis as we walk through the design remodel process. This is the end result of a very small kitchen that we did in the Brookside area. Um, Creating design remodel. Schlegel design remodel started a little over 40 years ago now. And back then there was no design process in place. A lot of construction just took place. Somebody may have had some plans on a paper napkin and a lot of hand waving. And Jake Schlegel started the company, and that's where it began. Just let's see what we want to do and wave our arms and draw something up. Um, as things progressed, people started realizing that, they wanted to have an architect do their plans. So early on, and before we became a design remodel company, a lot of times our homeowners would hire an architect. They would have these wonderful thoughts, like we want to remodel our kitchen and we want an island, and bump out window at the sink and so on. And the architects would love it. They would just design these fabulous remodels. However, without a budget in mind, these plans would come to the contractors or to us, and we would quote them. We would do workups, put the numbers together, and realize that we're giving a cost to the homeowner that really surpasses their budget expectations. And so we're the bearers of bad news and the bad guys. So we needed to figure out a way to work with the homeowner. Let's establish a budget. Let's get on the same page that way. And let's see what, and also we want to make sure you get what you want, but we definitely want to maintain two things in mind, your budget and the design that you're looking for. So the better way to do it was to start developing a budget or a design process. We were going to turn Schlegel into a one-stop shop. We did not have to have our clients go to an architect and then to a contractor or to us afterwards. Having that scope of responsibility with one person makes the whole project much better understood by the homeowner and the contractor, and also works towards a project that meets the homeowner's budget as closely as possible and their design desires. When you call Schlegel, your initial call to Schlegel Design Remodel, you'll leave a message and one of the designers will get back to you. On that phone conversation, when we talk to you, we talk a lot about what you're desiring, is what type of project you want, what your goals are there options, or how are you thinking you're going to proceed with this remodel, and just talk through all your likes and dislikes and your expectations and how we work in our design remodel process. If this works for you, if you like what you've heard, and we can come together with your expectations and how we proceed, then we will schedule a time to visit with you in person. On our initial visit, we will talk further about what you'd like to see, and we will take some pictures of your existing project. These are some before pictures of the project you saw on the opening slide of the presentation. As you can see, it was a very dark kitchen. Cabinetry was not present in all areas, and storage was a huge issue. It was very, very dated.
The darkness wasn't helped by the shelf and covering the window either.
There's a window behind the baker's rack that has a shade down, and there was also a window behind the kitchen sink. So there were some challenges right up front trying to get some daylight into this kitchen and still provide the homeowner with enough cabinetry and better layout so that when they're sitting at the kitchen table, they're not looking at the back of their microwave oven. And the refrigerator isn't, major part of the view.
Yeah, yeah. Those poor homeowners probably lived that way a long time too.
They did. They did. So when after the initial budget, we would get back to you and say, all right, we've looked at the project. Um, Based on our discussion and pictures that you've shown me, if you have had pictures, and what you'd like to accomplish, we think your project will probably cost between this amount and that amount. This is based on, sometimes we do a workup, sometimes we look, and we also look at prior projects and kind of go through our history and talk with others on the staff who may have been involved in something very similar, so that when we call you with a preliminary budget, you have an idea of where the cost will be. It's definitely not firm, but it's fair enough to say, okay, yes, I think I'd like to move forward from there. And if you do want to move forward from there, then we jump into the design phase. And I always say that this phase is at least as important as the actual construction. It helps lay out the project. We make all the product selections. We work on budget. This project is built during the design phase so that when it's over, we know exactly what you're going to do, and we know exactly what we're going to do for you, and what materials are going into this project. Sometimes we have large projects. Sometimes we have clients who want to do several areas of their home, but they're not sure what they're willing to spend and what is most important, and they need to prioritize and so on. So we do have on some occasions a two-part design approach, where the first part is, okay, let's look at everything and do a feasibility study. Okay, and that's where we come up with areas A, B, and C. We'll have a preliminary budget of about this much. If you do A and B together, this is what you can expect, so that before we jump into full design, we have an area of scope of responsibility that we're going to be addressing. In the design process, sometimes we do a timeline. This is very helpful, especially if we have a desired construction start date or a contract presentation date that we need to maintain. So we have a design process timeline, and we start from the bottom and work up so that we can meet these date deadlines so that we can accomplish your goals time-wise as well as our goals, satisfying your needs as far as timing goes. During the design process, one of the things that we do initially, and it's a lot of fun, is come up with some plan options. After you sign design, our staff architect comes out and does very precise measurements of your home. We put her staff puts your plan in a CAD program, and then we start playing with it, talking about the things that the designer, and the architect have come up with based on our discussions with the homeowners. So on this kitchen, we had several different options to give them more countertop space and improve the layout. So as you can see, we kept a peninsula in one of them. In option A, one of the windows had to go. So you can see where one of the windows, we took the back window out in option A and bumped out the kitchen sink window in that option. In in option B, we closed in the old sink window, and my thing is in the way, and then kept the window at the new sink location, which was a nice location because it was overlooking the backyard versus the driveway and the next door neighbor, where they on the side of the house. So then we moved on to other options, and just showed them the layout with a couple items. They're so used to having the dining or the dinette area in the same place in option C and in the previous option A, in front of that window. Couple times we tried to stretch their comfort zone and relocate the breakfast nook. Um, that was a little too much of a stretch. So we were able to come up with a plan to give them what they wanted as far as keeping their breakfast nook where it is, and then giving them uh, the extra storage space, countertop workspace, and what they were hoping and wishing for, a coffee space.
So,
So
Gail, a question. How often does a homeowner just pick one plan, or do you often get to pick from plans what you like the best and create plan E or whatever that may be?
it's very seldom we come up with the perfect plan the first time, and that's a very good question, Amy. What we'll do is take elements. Looking at all these plans, it really opens up the possibilities of what can be done and the different elements that can be applied to each remodel. And so the homeowner may say, I like the bump out sink in option A, and then, but I want the sink located in, option C. I want to keep my breakfast table where it is. Let's not do the option D with relocating it. In option C here, they love that special little coffee space, and that was important to them. So you just pick and choose the parts that are most important to you or that you like the best, and we try to incorporate all of those into a final plan. And it might take a couple of revisions. I have one now that I'm working on that we've done a revision, and the third time around, we just increased the size of the island a little bit, and it was perfect. So,
so the goal is just to get us all their wishes met, and they can visualize it this way.
Exactly. Let's look at it. It's like playing with a puzzle or blocks. It's just it's fun to just move things around and make it come together.
Yeah, and I can see as a homeowner, it's fun too, because you get to finally see your space in a different light.
Exactly. So here is the final plan. Now on the left, you'll see the before picture. That's what we started out with. And then on the right, you can see we took some elements from a couple different plans and created a more streamlined open kitchen, definitely brighter and more efficiently laid out. I think they have a range. They wanted an extra oven, so we were able to put in an oven and microwave tall cabinet in there by going around the corner. And they have their coffee bars and pantry storage. Storage was really something they needed. And then at the kitchen sink, I love to do a bump out window if we can. It just makes this sink area seem a little roomier, easier to work with, and brighter. So, so we just kind of rearranged this kitchen to make it more workable for them. As we're doing the plans, we're also making selections. I have a decision worksheet and then do a final finish schedule at the end, and you can see where everything is listed, what needs to be selected or what has been selected, and also what was selected in the color, so that as we go through the process, it's all coming together color wise, fixture wise, everything. And these are actual fixtures that they did select for their kitchen remodel.
Gail, how involved are you in this selection process as a designer? Do you help them? I mean, there are thousands of tiles, thousands of countertops, thousands of sinks. How involved are you in helping them make those selections?
Totally. I am very, very hands-on. I will pick up my clients at their home. We have scheduled meetings at different showrooms, and they're organized in order of importance and in order of what needs to be done to make the next selection. So we just go. I have, you know, we I make, you know, I have a feeling for what the client likes after knowing them and spending so much time with them in the preliminary design process and seeing pictures of things that appeal to them. So we usually start here at the office and look at cabinets and then move on to uh, plumbing fixtures, countertops, um, tile, backsplash tile, flooring. But I am involved every step of the way. I do like to take my client. I don't ask them to go anywhere on their own. And if they are happy with being picked up and driven around, then that's my pleasure to do it, because then we have time to talk in between appointments and get everything, organized in our minds and discuss what we've seen and what we're going to be looking at.
That's so nice, because I think that's where so many of us that would be interested in remodel get very overwhelmed, is the amount of options. So having someone to guide you, your own concierge to guide you through this, sounds very helpful.
Well, and somebody can go into for example, a tile store and not have any idea what they're looking at. And is it a natural? Is it a porcelain? Is it ceramic? And
Right.
what is the price point? Because not always are they listed. Or even plumbing fixtures. Just having a knowledge and working with knowledgeable people at these showrooms makes a huge difference. It really does. It helps you make decisions that you are 100% confident in.
Which is great. You're spending the money, you want to be happy with them.
Exactly. After we've gotten through the plans and we've made a lot of our decisions, subcontractor walkthrough is a very important step in the design process as well. During this time, we have developed the plans. Now we have a plan. We have an electrical layout. We work with the homeowner too, and it's not set in stone, but this is where we think we're going to put the can lights. This is how many pendant lights we want, under cabinet lighting. All of these details are very important, and they need to be addressed by our subcontractors. They're a huge part of the process. We subcontract out all the licensed trades, our electrician, our plumber, HVAC, drywall is subcontracted out. There's a lot of people involved in a remodel. So it's important to have these major subcontractors visit the site, visit the existing home, give them a set of plans and a scope of their responsibilities so that they can get back to me with their costs for the work. I feel it's a much better way, rather than estimating and saying, I think it's going to be this much, that's what I'll charge them in the contract. It's fairer to everyone to have a subcontractor walk through. And it's nice because they have a feel for the project before they jump in.
So a little more work on the front end, but delivers a much more accurate scope of what needs to be done and price wise.
Exactly. And the subcontractors may see things that we don't. I also have a project manager from the office come in. So they're looking at it from the actually doing the work. I'm sort of looking at it like, hey, this is what we're going to do. They're telling us how they're going to do it. And that's what's important. So at the very end of the design process, our deliverable to our client is a contract for construction. This contract for construction details, it's based on the plans that were selected, and details all the work that will go into construction, from demolition through framing, all the mechanicals, the drywall, cabinet, countertops, painting, tile, flooring, everything that we need, plus job supervision, ongoing cleaning, trash removal, all inclusive. And goes and it describes all the selections that are made so that when you get your contract for construction, it is the firm price. It's based on the information from our subcontractors and all the work that, all the footwork we went through to get to this point. You have a team. Every project would have a team that includes a project manager, the lead carpenter, and of course your designer. And of course, the major part of the team is the client. We all work together to guarantee a successful project. One item that is really important to everybody is a project schedule. So before we get started, a project schedule is developed. And this schedule will go from the beginning, the first day we walk in there and start doing protection, to the last day when we do the final dust and hand it over to you as a completed project. So on this schedule, the homeowner can see what he or she can expect to have done on any particular week. I'm not saying it might not move here and there. Subcontractors are independent, but we are always able to work our schedules and maintain the project end date, which is most important to people. And that is where we focused. Before we get started with any remodeling project, we do a pre-construction meeting. This pre-construction meeting has several values to it. First of all, the homeowner gets to meet the rest of the team. You're introduced to the project manager on your team and lead carpenter. Also, the lead carpenter and the production manager are introduced to the project. We walk through it so they can, when the first day on the job, the lead carpenter doesn't walk in there and try to figure out what's going on. You'll have a clear understanding of what is going to happen at the project.
Is this also when you get introduced to like the family dog, like you guys understand the whole dynamic? Because when you think about it, it's someone literally being at your home for an extended period of time.
Oh, it is. We always ask, there are lots of things we ask in this pre-construction checklist. One of them is pets, children, and the importance of keeping a safe environment for children and pets, and many, many other things that come into play. Dust control, our hours of work. It would be important for people to know when to expect us to show up and make sure that works in the daily routine. How we will get in and out of the home, where we will be storing material, and where we'll park. All these items that are just part of every project. We'd like to get those out on the table ahead of time so that when we get started, there's no wondering or questioning by the homeowner or us, what to expect.
So it's the things that might seem trivial, but actually matter to the success, right?
They're very important. Somebody may have an heirloom cabinet in another room that we're not working in, but we need to make sure that it is well protected and covered through the project in case any dust should get through all of our dust. It's just things that are, every project is personal, and we want to make sure that everybody that we're working for feels comfortable before we come in.
Sounds valuable to me.
So, and then before we get started, construction plans are completed. These are used in the field by our lead carpenters, our subcontractors. They're also used for permitting. As you can see, they're very detailed. Here we have the final electrical plan for the project that we've been looking at. And it shows all of the outlets and can lights and switching. And also have the mechanical plan that shows where the new floor HVAC outlets are. Some of them are, we've added some in this project, and plumbing, what is being replaced as far as plumbing. We also do elevations. Here are elevations of the kitchen cabinetry, and we have the coffee bar and the wall ovens. Those are all on the same plane or same wall. So here is the elevation of that. Also, we should do the bump out window at the kitchen sink that tells. So these are the front elevation inside on the details and bumping that window out. Then we have the new sink, the new range and refrigerator wall elevation, and then the sink wall elevation showing the cabinetry and backsplash. A major important part of any project is communication. It has to be available and open at all times. We have several ways of maintaining project communication with our homeowners. First thing is Builder Trend. That's a cloud-based program that we invite all of our homeowners to join to view their projects. On this Builder Trend program, you will see your project schedule and also the daily log information that is posted by the project lead carpenter, and photos. And he will show for photos of what has happened on that day. So if you're home and you want to see what he had to say, or if you're traveling and you're not home watching it in person, you can log on and say what happened in my house today. So Builder Trend is really a great tool for the homeowner to interact with everyone remotely. And weekly meetings, very important there too. At our pre-construction meeting, we established weekly meeting day and time. What we keep at the same time, same day of the week throughout the project. At this meeting, you have the project lead carpenter, the production manager, your designer, and the homeowners. We address any issues, questions, progress that we've made for the since our last meeting. We also give you give the homeowner a 2-week look ahead, what to expect in that week and the coming week, so they can plan accordingly, and address if there are any changes the homeowner wants to make. We've discussed those. Anything project related, it's important to keep on top of that. Oftentimes, I will say most of the time, things like cabinet hardware or paint colors are not really determined before we go into contract, because we really want to get those cabinets in and hold the hardware up and want to get the floor in or something more in before we start putting paint colors on the walls. So there's also reminders that these things have to be taken care of, so nothing can fall through the cracks. These weekly meetings are a great way of maintaining communication for the whole team. And then, of course, we're always available, all of us, via text or email. Here are some construction pictures. These are taken off of the daily log of the progress of this project that we saw. Now you can tell on the left, it's pretty demoed. The window is framed in. The new window is in, the new bump out window is in, and then the old window is framed in. And we framed for a recessed niche behind the stove, so you can see where they boxed that out. And then, as you can see, as it's growing, the drywall has been installed. It's starting to look more like a room. And then my computer's jumping.
Uh-oh. Is it still jumping?
It is.
So on the left, you have the flooring in.
Okay, yes. So on the left picture, the flooring went in. The these people wanted the old school type checkered flooring in black and white. It was fun to discover this flooring. It's a very rare request, but it was very cool to find it and then to put it in, and they did a great job. And then I think from reviewing the project, the next one,
Is the cabinets. Yep, on the right side.
we installed the cabinets. I just,
That's too bad it's jumping.
can you see me all right though?
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, so it's just showing the progress of the cabinets going in, and I'm trying to pull it up
Sure.
here so I can follow along. Um,
I'll skip ahead since we've done the cabinets.
okay, yeah, tell me what's next.
Yeah, no, now we're on project completion on time and on budget, which is so important to a construction project.
It is, it's that finish date. We have met your finish date, and the project is what the cost was that we said, unless you're starting to add a lot of, unless, there are major unforeseen circumstances or adds to the project, we've maintained the cost of the project as presented in the contract to you. So,
can you also talk through the warranty? Because Schlegel offers a warranty and we stick by that warranty.
we do. At that last project handoff meeting, we you have a folder, and in there is a list. We check off all the items that we've done and make sure that you're in agreement that we've completed what we have committed to. And you will get a 2-year warranty. And this warranty covers all of our workmanship, and it's just making us available to you at any time during that 2-year period at least. At 60 days, I contact you and come out and do a visit and look at the project, walk through it with you, and see if there are any issues that you might have. Sometimes there might be a little cracking of the caulk at the countertop. Often I have not seen that much, but that's just an example of the kind of things we're looking at. And then at 10 months, you would get a call from our production manager to let you know that it's been a year almost. We like you to go through a year of hot and cold and, the material shrinking and expanding. And then we would come out and address any issues of, cracking or anything that may have come up during that year. Of course, we're here. If there's any issue that comes up and you need immediate attention, just call Schloegel, and we're at your, beck and call as far as that. And 2 years is the warranty, and then Schlegel's been around for a long time. We'll be around well past the 2 years, and we have a handyman division that can handle small things that may come up afterwards.
All right. A different type of remodeling. So what our process makes it different how?
Our process makes it different in that we are engaged with the client from the first phone call through the final dusting of the new project. You know us. You're not dealing with anyone who is a stranger to you. We've grown this project together with you. We know it as well as you do, and I think the design process is what starts that relationship and building of a wonderful remodel.
And Gayle, from your perspective, you've seen probably projects that other people have done that don't have that design process. And how does that hold up a project in construction? Why is that so important?
Well, it's really important. It's a very good question, Amy, because as you go through the design process, you begin to realize there are a lot of elements relative to design. If people just jump in, okay, we want to start right away, and you have a contractor who says, okay, yeah, we'll start. Well, what are you doing? And then you have to stop and wait and figure it out and go, just, there could be delays. It could be delays waiting for material or delays waiting for scheduling a subcontractor because that's not done ahead of time. Also, increases. If you don't go in knowing exactly what you're getting and what that cost is, you can have any kind of a budget in mind, but reality is what the actual cost of the project is, what your cost of selections are, what the cost of the subcontract work is. So it's really a great idea. It's really the only way. Have it done ahead of time for that secure feeling of knowing, okay, this is what I'm getting and this is what it's going to cost me,
Sure.
and eliminate the bad surprises as you
Yeah,
go.
because I feel like the construction industry gets a bad rep. Everyone's like, figure twice what they quote you. And this has been Schlegel's way to avoid having that in your construction project.
Right. People complain twice the cost and twice the time. We've addressed those issues.
All right, now's the fun part, the before and afters.
Oh, I wish I could see him.
So the first before is that same shot that you're looking at the window with the baker's rack, and then the same shot on the right side of that same window with the kitchen sink bumped out underneath it.
Right. Yes. And it's just, it came out really cute. You can see it's a smaller kitchen, but the space and the layout and the brightness and the openness of this kitchen is just a major transformation. It just is an adorable space now and very workable, and it offers as much storage as anyone could expect in that type in that space.
Yeah, it's an unbelievable transformation for
It is.
sure. I think that just the brightness of it alone is part of it. And taking the cabinets to the ceiling definitely added space there too.
It did. It just brought the whole thing up. If you can remember, the old kitchen had a soffit with this dark orange and brown wallpaper on it, and it was very dark. Everything was down and dark and kind of compressed. It was very crowded feeling, and now it feels very airy and open and clean.
And what I think I love too about this kitchen is it's the same footprint. We didn't change any major walls or anything like that. We just changed the layout of it.
Exactly, and it was a wonderful change. I like everything that we were able to accomplish in this kitchen, but what it's fun is the one wall, and I think that is probably one of the last after pictures where we do have the coffee bar and the two pantries flanking it, where before it was this big refrigerator and a little piece of furniture. They've gained so much just in that one area.
Yes, I love that photo because it does seem so much larger in the
Mhm.
after than the before. Another great shot is just the corner where the range is and the fridge is. So that was a total relocation of the fridge. It's no longer obstructing views when you sit.
Exactly. And the microwave is um, in the back of the microwave. You're not facing the back of the microwave while you're eating breakfast.
Right, right. And then the last shot is that little walk-in area at the home with the pantries.
Right. We didn't talk about that at all. That was a little entryway from the back door. It had an old exterior door, and then there was an interior door from that entryway into the kitchen area, a little hallway that joined the kitchen to the basement stairs and the powder room. That some somewhere along the line, people put in cabinets in there and patched them and changed them, and also that was very poorly wasn't really heated at all. The exterior door was in need of replacement, and and if I recall correctly, there wasn't any heat out there, so it was very cold. You had to keep that door shut, but they used it a lot for overflow storage. So it was really fun to give them a new back door. We were able to remove the interior door and make it more accessible, and we put in new cabinets with much better, more efficient, clean storage, And it became another part, an extension of the kitchen versus this cold entryway you had to, or hot in the summer that you needed to pass through to get in and out of the back door.
Oh, and then we did include the powder bathroom, and that one, again, it's just an update in fixtures, right? I mean, walls and fixtures and
Right.
the flooring.
Yeah, everything in there was updated as well to kind of, that whole kitchen powder room back entry area was updated.